Hey everyone, my name's Drew and we are here. This is going to be week number 11 of the PGL and we are up against a friend, SinxRealize, and we're actually his first ever league match in the PGL NU Cup, but we're here now in a whole other league, whole different teams, just a whole other different situation, and this is going to be a really interesting matchup. We are going to try to get back on track with a whole bunch of other stuff. I'm going to try to dedicate this whole upcoming next week into getting caught up on everything that I've been behind on, but for right now we're keeping up with our week 11 match, and hopefully next week we'll have week 12 as well. But for right now, this is our matchup, and unfortunately we did have to postcom this one as well. If you want more information about that, you can watch the intro to my last video where I kind of go into it, but I don't want to go into it again. In any case, this is going to be our matchup. It's a really interesting matchup here. Again, I have a lot of things on my team that I really like, and a lot of things that I thought would mesh better than they ended up meshing. But either way, on paper, a Scarf Superior guarantees outspeeds his entire team, even with the Scarf. So I thought that was going to have the best matchup here. I have a Bandit Araquanid, I have a very standard Sand Slash, I have a Dragon Dancing Mega Altaria, and everything else is pretty darn standard. Again, I really like my Flying EMZ Dodrio, but I'm just gonna get into the match. So I mean, first of all, like I said, for more information about why I am postcomming, you can go see the other video, but a lot happens in this one, which I think ends up working out better because it does take a whole lot of explaining what goes on in this match, like genuinely. Okay, regardless, we see this lead, and I don't know what he's gonna want to do. I struggle with this quite a bit, but I just end up trying to go for the Hidden Power Ice, and here we see it's massively specially defensive, and here ends up going for the Play Rough, and does so much damage. So what I ended up finding out around this time was that, first of all, it had to be, my first thought was that it was really specially defensive, but then when I see how much damage it's doing, then I see it has to be max attack. So what I figured out in this exchange was that it's max HP, max attack, and assault vested. So in all honesty, when I volt switched, I was mainly picking a sack. I was hoping that my Dodrio would be able to take a Play Rough, but I wasn't really expecting it to. It was, like I said, mainly a sack, but thankfully he goes for the U-turn. I would have had to sack off him on if he'd gone for Play Rough again, but he ends up going into the Incineroar, and ends up getting a Scarf Thunder Punch off, which I wasn't expecting. I actually thought that he was going to do something else, which is, I actually think I might have gone for Sword Dance. It was a double dancing Dodrio with Flying EMZ, which I never actually got to use, which was super unfortunate. But in all honesty, when I originally played this match, I wasn't paying attention enough to realize that it was scarfed. I never find out in this match that it's scarfed, and I was distracted. Again, for more information, go see other stuff. But I was thinking that my Altaria can come in, I get a free setup opportunity, and here I can really start to do some things, right? So I set up a Dragon Dance. He takes that as an opportunity to go into the Frostlass, and it goes for Taunt, right? And my first thought is that, oh, this is a Scarf Frostlass. He brought this in to prevent me from Dragon Dancing and be able to, I don't know, go back in Incineroar to intimidate me again, something like that. But what I ended up finding out was that something went wrong in the genning process, and my speed EVs were not optimized in the way that I needed them to be, so I didn't outspeed anything even at +1 speed, which gave him a very free reign to be able to burn me. And now my Altaria is sitting here not able to Dragon Dance, not able to really do any damage, being burned, and only at +1, but I'm just trying to get some damage off, just trying to kind of salvage the situation. If nothing else, this Altaria can take one Mon down with it, and then not be a complete waste in this week's matchup. But it just ends up being unfortunate. Oh, another note. I knew that I couldn't go for return because I'd forgotten to, before this match started, to do my standard, you know, feed return Mons like 20 Hondu berries. I was out here farming Hondu berries for like a week straight. Not a week straight, but like a few days straight. And I have like max Hondu berries, 99 Hondu berries. And my strategy in every league match is to just feed every Mon 20 Hondu berries after it gets genned and transferred onto this cartridge. But I didn't do that, so my frustrations, or my returns, weren't even doing any damage, so I had to resort to Earthquake, and it was super inefficient. I wish I could have just gone for a return in those situations, but that is what it's going to be. Now, I go back into the Jolteon, and in this situation, I'm thinking, okay, this thing is low enough where if I can just hit this thing hard, then it's going to set up something for later. I know I can't take it out right now, and I know it's going to be a pain in the ass. I know this Serena is going to take down one more Mon with it, because I really don't have any proper switch-ins to this particular Serena set. I did not prepare at all for Serena. Serena is a huge threat with the Trop Kick, with the and with the Play Rough. Those two hits alone with the U-turn just really threatened my team quite a bit. And then here's, you can see another issue. My thinking was, if I can just get this thing low enough, then it's actually low enough where my Superior can come in, hit a Leaf Storm, and get to +2 for absolutely free, or force a switch. But my Superior was not contrary, so it ended up being not great at all. I didn't even notice. That's why I stayed in this situation. If I had noticed, I don't know, maybe I could have done something different, but I did not even notice that I was not contrary. So when my special attack dropped, I stayed in, assuming that I would be able to hit a +2 Leaf Storm, and I was in fact hitting a -2 Leaf Storm. So from there, it I guess allows me to bring up my SinxRealize, but now I am playing super behind. I've already made some huge mistakes, so I didn't optimize my Atari Speed EVs. I didn't max out the happiness, and I made a non-contrary Superior, so already I'm playing way behind. I made so many mistakes, and I just don't really know what I'm doing right now in this matchup, but regardless, my SinxRealize can hold it down a little bit. I'm not too concerned about this Incineroar, and I was super surprised about how much damage I did to this Incineroar. Now, again, I never put 2 and 2 together. Again, I was very distracted during this match. It didn't make for a very good recording at all, and so I ended up scrapping it. But what I should have realized is that, oh, even at -1, it's still like a completely no bulk Incineroar. I think it might have been like max speed, max attack, something to that effect. But I will have the sets down below made available, but I'm pretty sure that's what it was, and that's why SinxRealize was doing just so much damage. But in an attempt to kind of reset the Intimidate to kind of get a bigger threat out here, I try to switch in the Araquanid, and he gets the defense drop, which I was super concerned about. First of all, Physical MANAPHY. Can we start by talking about that? Physical MANAPHY with the Liquidation, and here I assume he's going to go for some sort of a Psychium Z. I don't know if this thing gets Zen Headbutt, but something like that. He ends up going for a skill swap. Now, what he told me after the match was that his original plan was to have the Z Heart swap for my Superior, because to try to take my Superior's stat boost. And after it went down as easily as it did, he decided to try to take my Araquanid's Water Bubble. But I am a Banded Araquanid, so Banded Leech Life is still doing respectable damage, as well as getting me back HP, but it's a losing scenario because not only was I at -1, but I lost Water Bubbles, so that MANAPHY was doing so much more damage to me over time, and I'm just forced to Leech Life into a dang Aggron, which is super unfortunate. But now at this point, now that the MANAPHY is no longer in there, my thinking is that I can switch out to reset to get my Water Bubble back, and I can hopefully threaten this thing out, do something there. But he ends up missing a head smash. I don't think it would have done that much anyway, but it is what it is. I just click Earthquake as I get intimidated, so now it's in the back of my head that I might have to switch out at some point to reset the Intimidate, depending on what happens. But that was just a super unfortunate thing to have happen right there. Man, once my Water Bubble was gone, it was so upsetting to me, genuinely. But we're in a situation now where he ends up sacking off his Incineroar, as you just saw, but now he brings in this thing, and I switch out assuming that he wants to Dragon Dance in the situation, and hoping that my Araquanid might be able to take a hit, or assuming he might go for 1,000 arrows or whatever the case may be. But he ends up going straight up for the Outrage, and does that much damage, which was absolutely wild. But now my Araquanid is pretty much useless now. I mean, this match, if it was lost before, it was definitely lost now. But if I had known he would have gone for the Outrage, obviously my SinxRealize stays in. I get as much chip damage as I can with the Earthquake. I probably take 1, maybe 2 Outrages, get 2 Earthquakes off, and then my Araquanid can come in and liquidation this thing. But now this thing comes in, which was super interesting. He does switch out to not even try to risk hitting itself in confusion, because at this point it is absolutely the win con. So he just sacks off the Aggron to preserve his win con. Totally fair play. And then in comes the MANAPHY, which again is a physical MANAPHY. I always bring physically defensive Sandslash, or at least I have. I've never really thought about like some sort of like assault vest thing or whatever. But being as defensive as I am, lets me take a liquidation, get one final EQ off, which actually brings Sandslash's KOs in this match to 3 KOs for the match, and brings it down to a 1-0 after all of the mistakes that I made. Again, let's just recap. I know I did this before, but let's just recap. I didn't optimize my Altaria Speed EVs. I didn't max out the happiness, and I have a non-Contrary Superior. So the fact that I'm anywhere in this match is a gosh dang miracle. But I just made so many mistakes, and I just didn't have anything for a play roughing Serena. But regardless, that's going to be the matchup. Like I said, it was kind of a mess. I did what I could. I thought I played it out decently well. I think it could have been a lot worse. But I was telling Sin after the match, like, hey, look, if I wasn't already like writing off the entirety of the season, I maybe would have been upset about all the mistakes that I made. But we're just out here to get some matches done and have fun with it. So it is what it is. I know now that I need to check a few things before I know now that I need to be a lot more careful with the final weeks and the coming stuff. But whatever the heck happens, this was a really fun match. Thank you to Sin. Sin's a really great guy. And like I said, I'm going to try to devote next week to try to get caught up on everything and hopefully get whatever I can out of the PCL season done before the official season ends, week 12 next week. But with that, thank you guys so much for watching. We'll be back really, really soon, like I said, with more PCL, with more PGL, and a couple other things that I also need to catch up on. But once again, with that, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll be once again out.